and welcome to Clay to Canopy, the show where I attempt to make just about everything from the ground up. Y'all, this is part 2 of the chair making series. It was just way too much to throw into one video. So if you've missed the first half, I'll put a link in this description. But here we go with round 2. The first part of the seat, I have applied the polyfill over the springs, protecting them. Next up is going to be to start cutting the pattern for the front layer. There's supposed to be some decking that you won't see because the cushion's going to go on top. And so I have black duck fabric for that. I could not find purple. I was really upset. My Joanns, they literally were wiped out of a lot of things. So I'm making the best of it. The fabric that I absolutely fell in love with is unfortunately a quilter's cotton, so it's very, very thin. And of course, here's my my lovely assistant, who is always here whenever fabric comes out. Yeah, in order to help this along, Mama, I'm going to be doing a couple things to it, and one of the main things I'll be doing is backing it with this Decor Bond 809. It's just going to be used to firm up the fabric, give it a little bit more body. I do have some Stay Flow. Even though this was discontinued, I purchased it years ago. I hope it's still good. But there are other liquid starches out there. So I'm going to be topping the top of the fabric with the liquid starch and protecting it. And I know my breath, it's cold out here, it's drizzling out there. I have nowhere to put this little monster while I work with fabric. All right, let me deal with some measurements and then I will be getting into the groove of this. I've laid down this really thick felt so I can have big surface to iron on. I probably should have a quilter's pen. Too many drawers. I really should label things. Truth is, I don't have the oomph for that kind of tasking. It's not that I don't like organization, it's just that the time it takes to label things and do all of that. I would much rather be making crap rather than sitting here and worrying about cleaning out things and go. I need to hire someone. That's what I need. I need to hire someone who can come in and organize my stuff. Then I will spend about 2 years trying to find out wherever the hell the stuff is that they put, where they put it, because I know my chaos. Okay, I am still following along with that upholstery book. The first piece of their pattern is 12 inches in width. She's got this design going on. Ironically, it's a dragon design. I am loosely going off of her measurements. I figured this pattern repeats well enough that once I get the front part on, I'll kind of just hold up and match where the next piece lays, maybe. Or I'll just say to hell with it and not worry about matching patterns. We'll see. We'll see. I got a good bond. I went over it again on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and start attempting to Stay Flow this. And there she goes. Mama, why don't you go up in your house? Come on. Yes, it's all wet. Go up. Go up in your house. If you are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. And if you're enjoying this content, please hit that like button. So in the book, she talked about rather than pinning that you could staple the fabric seam line together. And I'm kind of curious about that. Seems like it would be much quicker to staple the two pieces of fabric together, but then I'm like, you gotta what? Does it end up, the staple end up in the seam allowance, and you have to then remove the staple, which staple removing is a pain in the butt. Are there special staples for like fabric that I don't know about? Is this a thing? Y'all are familiar watching? Have any of you done stapling for seam lines rather than pinning? If you have, please comment, let me know. Maybe it's something I gotta try. Is it like, you know, regular old school stapler? And then you cut the seam line through? I don't know. Maybe, right? Seems like if you have a 1/2 inch seam allowance and you staple close to the edge, you could, in theory, have enough room to sort of like cut through. One would think. I'm loaded up here with white, might as well keep it. I do have this guideline here set up for the 1/2 inch marker from the quilt that I was working on. I think we'll just keep that line. And unfortunately, I do not have an industrial sewing machine. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this sewing machine. She's been very good to me, but I need to reinforce this stitch. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in my regular straight stitch that is a double straight stitch. It goes back and forth. But then I'm gonna reinforce with a zigzag, I think. You know what, in fact, since this is upholstery, I am gonna put in a second stitch right next to it and then zigzag. Oh yeah, that looks nicety, nicety, nicety. Should give me a good mark line, and of course I should have used the damn purple. Well, it is what it is. I have tested out the first piece here that I have stitched up, looking good so far. Next up, I have to cut the decking that's gonna go in between here, this black duck fabric. I gotta do this quickly because there is a little girl behind me who's like itching to just get over here and mess with my fabric. And I just spent, a good 15-minute love fest snuggling her, and her hair is now covered on this table. So, yeah. It's really wet out there, baby. Rain's coming down. You might want to stay on your chair. I finished this yesterday, and I went back in and measured out 4 inches from the inside edge, the half round, whatever that stuff is, the edging stuff. But next up, I need to stitch this front line into that line, which is why I drew it on there. So this has to get stitched to here first, just to sort of hold it all in place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I am just going to be using a very large upholstery needle with some very thick DMC floss here to do my stitching. Might be a little difficult to capture on camera because I will be stitching through and under, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. As you can see, this is going to take me a hot minute, so I'm going to just get on with getting on. Ow! My goodness! Stupid you! I'm trying to sew! So I'm not happy with the thickness of this edge. It's making some weird pleating. You can still see this corner. It's because I didn't put enough padding here. So I have some of this extra cotton. I'm going to tack it to the front here, stuff the inside, and then come through with thread to kind of tack it in place, or string, whatever you want to call it. So that is the move here. Yes, Mama. Trying to work here. I've made 2 templates using my old trick of taking some drop cloth that is clear and then putting it up against the object that I need the template for and tracing. This is for the sides, and then I made one for the top, and then taking some measurements for down here. Because I made this template prior to putting on the cotton polyester, the padding, I've given myself an extra 1/4 inch in the template to have a little bit of extra space, so that way I can go ahead and have some room when I do the cut. Now I'm gonna leave this extra in the bottom because I need to have some room to pull it through the bottom of the arm and staple. And as I'm looking at this, freaking A, I should have given myself a little bit more room at the bottom because I want to go under the chair. So now I'm gonna redo this. I'm gonna retrace this thing, scooching this up to the top. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut what I got. I'm gonna go with this 2-inch foam for the backing. I'm gonna just cut it down to a size. Like. Before I can apply that layer of foam there, I had to reinforce the backing, and I also threw in some leftover bits of the foam in between. So I have upholstery webbing, some foam, and some more upholstery webbing on the back. This will give me some decent structure, and now I'm going to go ahead and apply the main layer of foam onto here. Alright y'all, I have finished padding up the back and I am trying to figure out how to make my pattern. One of the best ways I've found to do this, and it's my favorite way of doing it, is just to take some plastic drop cloth, and I have taken some of my straight pins here, popped them into the padding, and then taken a Sharpie marker and just traced around where my pattern lays. You can be as precise as you want this to be, but for my needs, this is as good as I need it to be. So now I can go ahead, cut this out, and use it as a template for my fabric, which is exactly what I'm going to do. After doing my stitching, I applied upholstery tack strips so that I would have an easier time attaching this to the back. Once fully installed, all that was left was to make a cushion. Alright y'all, there she is finished. A bit hard to get her all in that shot, but I am super happy with her. She's done. She's ready to go. She does need her ottoman. Gotta stay back here. I got a sleepy boy back there. This is gonna be it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already, and stick around to watch this environment all come together.